Howdy, this is Wombat, or Wambat, however you like to pronounce it. I am starting to do LPs now, video LPs that is. This will be my first. This is going to be a little test run right here. What I'd like to do first off is just do a little custom battle. And the purpose of this will be to, first of all, test out my ability to do these sorts of things, and second of all, to show something of a test of the, I did a little Berserker test here. Just because I think a lot of people, because it takes so long to get access to Berserkers playing a Dunabar, people tend not to use them for that reason, and do not know just how useful they are. So I'm going in. I've got 5 Berserker units here. You can see I've added experience to them. It's something that anybody who is using this mod needs to remember, is if you want to make a custom battle and test out how units are going to be, you need to manually add their experience. Most of your units that you're going to be using will probably have start out with 6 experience, possibly 7, especially if they're mercenary. And with most units are going to have gold weapons. I believe elves and dwarves typically should not have gold weapons, something like that. Okay, and then I've got my berserkers here. I'm pitting them against an equal number of guards of the Citadel. And if you've played fighting RK, or playing as RK, you will know that for the Reunited Kingdom, these are the top-notch infantry. They're a very tough nut to crack on the battlefield. So pitting these Berserker infantry against them, I think, will be a good test of just how effective they are in the battlefield. And another one of the advantages of the Berserkers is that they're just very simple to use. Alrighty, so continuing on. Alright, start deployment. Okay, and one of the this is a cool little feature. Something to bear in mind if I don't know if this is really true, but it seems to be the case. If you have a unit like this who can crouch down when it's hiding, especially if they're doing it in grass rather than in trees so that they're out in the open, it can be really helpful to have them as the front line in front of your archers, because being crouched down, they're less likely to get hit in the back of the head by your archers, and then they'll spring up once the enemy gets close to you. That's neither here nor there for this battle. We are going to just set these guys up out in the open. They don't need to be using any kind of surprise tactics. They are very capable. I'm just going to start walking them over. We can speed it up even. Basically, once they get close enough to the enemy, we're going to hit this little Warcry ability. That's probably close enough. Warcry, and they're just going to attack like maniacs. This guy didn't do it, so we're going to attack. And there we go. See, he got into his Warcry already. Very nice. Any of them that aren't, and you can, oh, look at that already. See how they just chewed him up. They just destroyed him. Equal numbers, these guys wiped him out. And those are the best infantry, best recruitable infantry that the RK has. No special tactics, just throw them at the enemy, and look at my losses, hardly any. So if anybody has their doubts about the worth of these units, I continue battle just because I want to show you something. These units, look at the recruitment cost here, 400 for units of this. If you're wondering why they're so capable, the answer, you don't really have to look farther than this answer. 2 hit points makes a huge difference, and the fact that they won't break while they're in their Berserker rage, and that's very effective, very good attack level. I mean, there are other units that have better attack ratings, but this is a very decent one. yeah, so then their frightened infantry makes they're really awesome, and it doesn't show the upkeep cost here, but their upkeep is really low. I think it's 70 or something, just ridiculously low. Once you can produce these guys, that's pretty much all you'll want to produce from those production centers, and getting to them is really a top priority. Alrighty. Having done that, I guess I can do one more thing on my test run. I want to, my friends, so-called, at the forums have decided that I should do my first campaign, my first LP video campaign as Rhovanion. Don't know why they feel that way, but that's how they feel. So I don't mind obliging, and while I'm doing this test run, I'm going to go ahead and make a custom battle just to take a look at their roster. Okay, let's go ahead and add some money here, so don't give me nonsense about not having enough money. Do Rhovanion. I'm going to do something pitiful like Herod. Okay, going forward. So I'm just going to grab one of each of all the Rhovanions roster here. That looks nice. I wonder where I can recruit those. Okay, so these guys here, I think these are the recruitable version of a mercenary unit that you can pick up in like the Brownlands and I think in the Western Greenwood area. They are really quite exceptional. I was surprised because given their stats, you don't think much of, they're just you think they're just going to be a standard skirmisher. But I had them in my Dwarves campaign. I picked up quite a few of these as mercenaries, and they were truly quite effective. I was very impressed. That's their recruitable bodyguard, and this is their what serves as their heavy cavalry. I would call it, obviously it says here medium cavalry. That's all it is, and all you can expect from it. I don't know what this one is. Retainer scouts. Oh, that must be if you start conquering Rohan. Let's see how they got a better attack. Ooh, they have a missile. I see. So these are must be a bowman, mounted bowman. Okay. Well, that would be a good thing to get. Oh, that kind of makes me think I need to start expanding into Rohan in my campaign. Okay. And what we're going to give Herod, just so that they won't bug us, is this little, I'm going to give him one of these little crappy guys with no experience or anything. And with any luck, they won't try to bother us while I'm looking at my units, and give all these guys the upgrades that they normally get. So all of the units in the normal game get a base 3 experience. That is all the units that you can recruit. If a settlement revolts, I believe the peasants or independent peoples that that manifest from the revolt will all be 0 level, which means that too many. When you have to reconquer an area that has revolted, you pretty much have an easy time of it, and it's it could kind of be exploited as a way of getting your troops easy experience. But one of the things to be aware of in this game is that because you start out with so much experience, it's so hard to keep track. Okay, well, what I was going to say originally is that you have that base 3, but there are buildings that you'll want to acquire in your settlements that will bring you most of your units up to a base 6 when you recruit them. Very few factions do not have at least one building that will get a unit up to level 6, 6 rank. And you'll always want to upgrade your troops, if at all possible, to that level 6. And some units will be able to get up to level 7 just from this training. And the thing to be aware of as a consequence is that it's going to be pretty difficult to actually level up your units just through combat experience. might not be so difficult for cavalry and ranged units. They'll probably get a lot of kills and not that much attrition. But especially for infantry, you're not likely to see many of them gain more experience than what they can get from training. And if they do, it's a good idea to really try to safeguard the experience of those units. Okay, so we're going to put these guys on the battlefield. With any luck, my force will be intimidating enough that the enemy will just stay put, because I want to be able to look at my units and possibly move them around a little bit and see what they're like. Okay, pressing deployment. I should have picked a different battlefield. Wasn't paying attention. These dang trees in the way. Is there a clear area where I can deploy? Okay. Oh, the what? Why can't I just deploy these guys? No. Does it not like me to do that on water? Yeah, this is weird. One of the peculiarities of this particular mod is that water in the various maps is not predictable in how it's displayed. Sometimes it's basically just a visual effect and doesn't have any practical impact on the battlefield except as a contour of the landscape. Your units can just walk right through it regardless. Sometimes, as in this case, they do appear to have a different this does appear to be sort of like a little miniature river body. I'm not even sure if my units would be able to march through it unless they can go through water, although I'm pretty sure all these light units can swim. Let me see here. Okay, these spearmen can't swim, axemen can't swim, and those axemen can't swim. I'm going to press start and see if they can walk through this. Can I go straight? Oh, didn't mean to select everybody. Let's do axemen. See if they'll go through there. Nope, see they can't. Okay, so this is treated as a river here. So there will be maps you'll see. Oh, look at this, they're coming towards me. You know what? Okay, well, we'll just pause it for now. And we'll take a look at our units here. Okay, these guys here, these are our basic spearmen. Very nice looking little guys. Probably pretty pathetic on the battlefield. Not terribly impressive. These are not guys that I would want to use on the battlefield if I didn't have to. Okay. Put that over here. Okay. These are axemen. Rhovanion axemen. So these are our standard axemen. Let's look at their stance. They're just a bit better on attack and defense. Still not gonna. These kind of guys. This is like Bjorning axemen level, I think. Or the standard rabble. Still not going to be much use on the battlefield. Alrighty. What about these guys? These are the Vassal axemen. They look like they are some Easterling axemen, so this is probably if I conquer some eastern lands, I'll get some of these guys. And they have better defense, but same attack as the other ones. So they're 80, they're both 80, so that's the same. Oh, but they have a war cry. Do these guys have a war cry? They do not. Okay, war cry is a big difference. War cry adds apparently 10 to the attack for, I don't know, 30 seconds. That's a pretty huge impact on effectiveness. So if I were to get some of these guys, they would be some flanking units that I would use to attack the rear and flanks after they make their war cry. Alrighty, the screens. I'm doing my LPs here on the only thing I have available to me, which is my laptop, and it's not the greatest, so there's probably going to be some points where the graphics will slow down and stop, but just bear with me. I think for my playthroughs, I'm more concerned with helping people with my experience in tactics and so forth, rather than giving them the great visual experience that this game certainly provides. Alright, here's the, let's see, Retainer Longbowman. Okay, this is what I get if I go up into Dale. And missile attack, this is probably the most important attribute here. 175, let me see what my normal guys get. They get 160 and 2 less for the missile attack. Okay, so that's a good bonus right there. And it's only 10 less of them, so that's not bad. It's not bad. I believe there is a mercenary longbowman available in that area. They probably have like 50 soldiers in them, maybe less, 40 or 50. Well, I'll definitely be wanting to pick up some of them. Alrighty, what else we got here? Oh, these are the guys I wanted to look at right here, these Rangers. Yeah, I was talking about them earlier. Nice missile attack. These guys, they got the bonus against riders, bonus against large creatures, effective against armor. This is the real game changer for them. They really show themselves very well on the battlefield, and I think it's largely due to the effective against armor and the fact that they have the bonus against riders, large creatures, means that they can stand up well to cavalry charges and such. They do have this 49-yard range. Now, let me see here. That is one of the lower ranges for skirmisher units for throwing. Like here's the standard skirmisher unit for Rhovanion. They got 60 yards. That's like 50% more range on their missile units, and that's an important difference because at 50 yards you probably get one shot off at an approaching enemy. With 60 yards you can possibly get two, or you can get one and have a very good chance of running away after that one. Whereas with 50 yards you're more likely to get caught. But these guys I would actually use as frontline units, probably on Do Not Pursue, and just let them take an impact as a charge. As when I had these guys in my Dwarven army, they did that. They supplied that role when they needed to, and they did very well. They have very good morale that keeps them from disintegrating. Yeah, I think I don't know where I would actually recruit these. Maybe you have to recruit them in the Brownlands or something. But I look forward to getting them. They will be very useful. Now let's look at the cavalry. Okay, what we got here? This is our Rhovanion scouts. This is going to be our standard light horse unit. Probably is going to make up most of my cavalry. Let's see. Yeah, see, these guys will fold up like immediately if they are left in melee. They have to be used in large numbers to smash an enemy and make them rout immediately. Bonus against riders and large creatures. This means they'll be very good at taking down enemy cavalry. And that's probably what I will use them as before, largely. Oh, look at these guys. Aren't they cute? These are... Okay, these are the guys with the bows from Rohan. Pretty pathetic missile attack. If I remember correctly, that's pretty much where the conned outriders were. Yeah, and range. So they'll be good for something. I don't know. If I get all of them, I'm sure I'll find good uses for them. And these guys. What is this one? This is the nobles. Okay, this is the recruitable bodyguard. I'm probably making a lot of these because I will want them to supply the governors from my cities, and also to go around and recruit mercenaries. One of the nice things I think about the area where Rhovanion is, they are, I think more than any other Mannish faction, aside from, you could say, Dunabar and Reunited Kingdom, just because they're spread all over the map as they are. The Rhovanion, for one of the small factions, is probably the best placed for recruitment of mercenaries. They have their own initial territories are all is one mercenary recruitment zone. Just below them is another. Just to the west is either 2 or 3 more along the border of Greenwood and the Brownlands, and then there's another 2, and then there's one north in the Dale territory, and then another 3 on the eastern side, when you're going towards Rune, or into Rhovanion, or into North Rune. All different recruitment areas, so there's going to be huge amounts of mercenaries available to me, and they're all mercenaries I'm well familiar with from my Dwarven campaign, so I'm looking forward to making use of those. We've got one last unit here. This is the cavalry. This is the medium cavalry. This is the heaviest cavalry I can produce. 30 is respectable for defense. Attack is 13 and 17. I think that was almost exactly the same as my light cavalry. Where are they? Yeah, just one more than my light cavalry. I mean, that's not a huge... I mean, and look at the difference between recruitment cost. Well, this might not be the same. I didn't realize this might be different recruitment costs from what's on the from what's in the game. Well, and then of course you don't have the recruitment cost modifier of your governors. Am I even looking at the right thing? I'm not looking at the right thing. This is this one. This one. Okay. So here we go. March Wardens, 1,200 compared to, so almost, this is more than twice as much to recruit these guys, and I don't know what the upkeep is yet, but my point is that I'm probably not going to recruit a lot of these, just because, regardless of the defense rating on the cavalry, cavalry is pretty weak. So, I mean, in terms of just staying alive in a battle, they drop like flies as soon as they're in melee. And I don't think, with the idea with cavalry is to just keep them out of melee, use them just for their charges and get them out. So I'm not seeing that. Well, we'll see if I feel like I need to recruit a lot of these guys. Alright, I think I've looked at everybody here. There isn't a whole lot of special recruitment options, just 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's pretty much reflecting the north, south, east, west expansion routes. Maybe not south. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to end this practice run. I'll go and make sure I've actually recorded it properly, and then maybe I'll go forward with my first turn tonight. That would be nice. All right. Thank you for watching my very first video to go up on YouTube, and I look forward to publishing my first episode of the actual campaign very shortly. Please stay tuned.